I want to talk about some red flags that I ignored before getting married, and now I wish I'd paid attention. I'm married, I've been married for 10 years now, and I want to share my life experience through marriage, and I want to give a story that may help someone out there and that may help myself as well. So, I'll give you some red flags that I should have paid attention to before I got married, and that they are haunting me even as I'm still in this marriage. And I wish I'd paid attention then, and I wish I acted on them. The first red flag was the time I met my now husband. We were just friends. We didn't start dating there and then, no. But as I interacted with him, I noticed something about him, and I told him to say, "You sound like someone who is so scared of their parents, especially the mother. You have such a fear that even when you tell her that you are dating someone, you fear that you can even be beaten." I really can't remember how I sensed that, but that was the perception that I got. And he never argued about it. We continued chatting. Sometimes we'd be close, sometimes we'd be distant. And that time, I think I just said, this guy, I don't think he's for me. He's not really emotionally available. So I gave up. So he came back a couple of years later. That's when we started dating officially. So why am I talking about this red flag? Currently, this red flag is haunts our marriage. I'm not the only one who noticed that. At some point, my bishop asked us to visit him at his office. He wanted to meet the person I was dating. So when we went there, we chatted a little bit, and then he asked me to go out because he wanted to have a small chat with the man I was dating. They chatted, just for a brief moment. It didn't take so long. I was called back in. We said our goodbyes and we left. Later, my bishop called me and said, if you plan to marry this man, you have to be very strong, because I see the mother to have so much control in his life. Now, when you're in love and you really want to get married, mind you, I got married a little later in my life. I got married when I was above 35. So at that stage, all you want is to settle down because the clock is ticking. So I'd never really understood how it would affect my marriage going forward. I thought maybe it's something that would just be talked about and remain just like that. But now I can see that that is not something that I should have overlooked. Maybe I should have even talked about it with him before we got married. Because up to now, believe me, we live a life like he gets instructions from the mother. We cannot sit down, decide, or make decisions about our family, about what we are going to do. If we have to initiate anything, I have to take a lead. If I don't take a lead, nothing will work out, nothing will happen. But I know his family thinks he's the one who's doing things. But no. Or sometimes you can see the reaction and some of the comments that people pass. You can see to say, this is how these people think. I don't see us progressing so much financially because we can't even sit down and plan. We can't plan for this year, we can't plan for next year, we can't plan for 5 years, we can't plan for 10 years. We just live life as it is. But every year, once a year, him and his siblings, they have to go back home to their parents to discuss their family plans, to discuss their achievements, to discuss what they are planning to do. But I ask myself, why can't we do the same? Because we've started a family as well, and we need to plan because we have children and we need to plan. At the moment, the money I make, I have to make plans for it. The money he makes, he has to make plans for it. You foot the bills, parentals, and these other things. But we can't sit down and say, here is the money, what should we do? We have this project, let's try to raise money for this project. Sometimes I try to think through, but because of so many things that are happening, sometimes you get lost in the maze of thoughts. I feel like we've lost it on that part. Whenever the mother visits us, you can see how jumpy my husband gets. Whenever she coughs, my husband jumps. He just can't make a decision. And that has really affected us in so many ways because he doesn't know how to think forward, how to plan, how to say, we need to do this, we need to start this project, complete this project. It's like he's still living in his mother's house. And the projects that matter are the projects that the mother and his siblings are doing, not what we are supposed to do as a family. I've taken it upon myself to say I need to push because if we continue like this, our ending will not be so good. How I wish he had an independent mind, and if he can just realize to say he is the man of our house, he needs to take a lead. But none of that happens. I'll share with you something that happened in the next episode. He doesn't know that I know, but it's something that it really hurts me, and you can see to say together there isn't much that we are going to achieve. Right now, even the house that we are building, I had to push for us to get a plot. I looked for the plot. I pushed. That time I was still working. I had to push so much. I lost my job midway, and the progress on the structure has been very slow. But we can't even sit down to say, let's plan how much do we need to complete this structure? How are we going to raise this money? Nothing like that happens. I really wish I paid attention to that red flag because it clearly shows that my husband doesn't have an independent mind. His subconscious or even consciously is controlled by the mother. Had I paid attention to it, maybe I would have decided not to enter into this marriage. Or maybe you could have sat down and talked about it so that he realizes to say, we cannot build a marriage where you can't independently make a decision because a man, I expect a man to be the head of the house, to be leading us, to be guiding us, to be making decisions. Recently something happened in their family and the way they were going about it, it got onto my nerves and I clearly asked him to say, why are you guys acting as if you've not been to school? Why are you guys so scared of your mother such that you can't even say the truth to say, if we did this, we are just going to waste money and effort because such things don't happen. That is my number one red flag. Join me in the next episode, which is part 2, where I'll share some other red flags that I overlooked, but that which I should have paid attention to before getting into marriage.